Hey, what's up, guys? I have been so dang busy. First off, thank you for all love and support on the channel. I really do appreciate it. But these guys have been keeping me busy, okay? So, yeah, my dog had puppies, been taking care of them and finding them new forever homes. So, everything's been going great. Only one puppy left, but y'all want to hear about all the dogs? Let's get in these poker hands. What's up, guys? Welcome back. Hope you've all been having an amazing day, amazing weekend. Hope everything's been going well for you. Time for the first poker hand of the night. Technically, okay, full transparency, it's not the first poker hand of the night. At least for me, it's not. I am actually already in for my second bullet. There's really no hands of note. I just kind of got chipped down, you know. It was like 25 here, 50 there, things like that where I had to pay to see flops. Nothing really, kind of went the distance. And I think on my last 60, I just shipped it all in. I was like, okay, hopefully I'll get double up. I didn't. I reloaded, looked down, see pocket eights. We get 3 callers. One person's all in for $4. Yep, they had a deep stack. Anyways, 3 ways to this flop, which is the amazing 836 rainbow. That is right. We flop top set. Now, with me raising pre-flop, I think I can bet here some, but this board just doesn't really hit them that much, so I feel like a check's fine too. When the 7 of clubs comes on the turn in middle position, bets for $15, I feel like now's a good time to try and build the pot. I raise it up to 50. It's one of those situations where, you know, kind of what do they have? I was really hoping to see an ace or something that spiked like the upper end of their range. But with that being said, there's a flush draw out there, you know, some 4s, 5s with a combo draw with the flush draw, things like that can pay us off. Anyways, action gets to the big blind. He makes the call, which is surprising because he checked before, and then the middle position player folds. So action not quite going how I had anticipated. I expect the big blind player to fold because he checked, and then the middle position player to call. But that's not what happened. And it doesn't matter when the bank 3 of clubs comes on the turn. It does bring in that flush, which hopefully he had, and he leads out for around $50, I believe is what it was, if I'm remembering correctly. And I'm in a situation where I have around 209 behind, which is kind of a weird stack size, right, compared to the pot. So he leads out for 50, and I feel like the only play I have here, I try to calculate. I'm like, all right, if I go 3x, it's 150. I'm leaving 50 behind. That really doesn't make sense. If I just min click it, 100, I feel like I'm getting the minimum. Doesn't really matter. I'm trying to target flushes. I'm trying to get paid the max, so I do finally land on an all-in. He thinks about it for not too long, and he eventually does say he's going to have to call. Now, I will say this. I was playing with this gentleman. He said he did not notice the greens. The greens were in front. As you guys can see, I didn't hide them or anything, but he just looked up and he saw the reds. So he thought he was just calling 100 and not the 209. I discussed it with him. I said, okay, you know, I feel bad because I don't want him to think I'm angle shooting. He said, hey, no, it's no big deal. It was my fault. You put him in front. I should have seen. So we let the pot be as it was. And those kind of things happen in poker. You know, you got to have integrity. There's a lot of shady people out there. So this guy's super good guy, super awesome, super chill. We talked out, we were good. And trust me, we do get into hands later. So he will get some of my chips later on. That being said, after being in for 2 bullets, which is $600, I do win a $568 pot and hopefully start the comeback train right now. Alright guys, so going immediately into the next hand here, there's a $5 straddle. I decided to put the $10 straddle on because I like to gamble. I like to play big pots, so I do like to straddle and entice action and build up pots. That being said, under the gun player just sat down. This is literally his first hand. He raises it up to 50. This guy's a wild card. I've seen him go all in with pocket 2s. I've seen him do all kind of crazy stuff. So a king 10 of hearts, this is pretty much an easy call for me. He could be doing this with 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, jacks, queens, kings, aces. He could be all over the place. So I decided to put in 50 and see what the flop brings. And when the flop comes out 6, 5, 3 with 2 hearts, I'm loving life right now. I'm loving life right up until the point where he says all in. Now, I asked the dealer for a count. He says 250 because this gentleman did buy in for 300. Once again, with that being said, this is one of the players that I don't mind giving action to. So I make the call, and at this point, I think my king could be good. Obviously, any heart I think is nutted. My 10 could even be good in this spot. So I think with all that being said, I am getting the right odds to make this call and see a run out. Hopefully we can bink a heart or a king. Unfortunately, 9 of diamond comes on the turn, and then the bink, king of spades on the river. That's right, we hit top pair. He lets us know he has 1 pair. Unfortunately, it is the pair. He woke up with aces on his very first hand, sitting down, and this $605 pot is going the opposite way. So GG to him. On to the next hand. Ugh, it hurts. Yeah, I don't think I had to put that 250 in there, but like I said, against the player type, it is what it is. I made the call. I'm happy with it. Sometimes I'll be right, sometimes I'll be wrong. But moving on to this hand, it is a double board bomb pot. We look down and see 5, 7, 6, 5, no suits. The top board is 6, King, 10, and the bottom board is Deuce, 5, 9. Both boards are rainbows. I flop top set on the bottom board, nothing really on the top other than a pair of sixes, and action goes crazy. Small blind bets 15, big blind raises to 85. I make the call because I have a set on bottom, plus I have the straight draw. That being said, in these pots for pot limit Omaha, you normally want to have both boards, but because I'm so strong on the bottom board, the only thing I'm afraid of really is a set of nines, and even if I'm against a set of nines, I could spike an 8 for a straight to win. So hijack gets around to him, he decides to make the call, and action folds back to that small blind player, who now thinks about it for a second and decides he's going to play for everything. He goes all in for 175, big blind goes all in for 230, and action is back around to me. Oh man, these bomb pots can get big pretty quick. I'll tell you what, people love to put all their money in. I get a quick count on these small blind players chips, because I want to know how much he has to see how much I will be playing for if I do decide to make this call. And I decide to go all in for 285. If I'm going to make the call, I may as well go all in. It's either fold or all in. And like I said, I'm choosing the side of chaos. So I go all in, hijack makes the call, and now we have all the money in the pot. $1,020. Okay, that's how much is in the pot. This pot is ballooned up out of control. All we are on is on the flop. This you can see in Omaha, but honestly, with these two boards, I'm kind of surprised because there's not that many draws. There's no flush draw on any board. Both boards are rainbows. So I am terrified someone has top set on the bottom, set nines. I'm extremely scared because it's Omaha and it happens. But like I said, I put my money in the middle. If that's what happens, then I will die on this hill. I will get scooped and I will reload and I will buy more. Dealer's getting all the pots right because there is a lot going on. I look down at my hand again. We're all discussing the hand at this point. And it turns out that I'm the only one going for the bottom board. No one has a set of nines. I'm pretty much free rolling. Everyone's going for the top. Someone has a set of 10s. Someone else is open-ended. I believe someone has king 6 or something like that. Someone has queen jack for open-ended. So yeah, everyone got their money in going for the top board. And I'm the only one going for the bottom. In Omaha, that is extremely rare. I'm liking life right now. So dealer finally gets the pots ready. I look at everyone's hands. He has 10-10 queen jack. So he flopped middle set with open-ended. Insanely strong draw. That gentleman over there has queen jack, and then the gentleman over here has a king. I don't know what else he had because I didn't really get to see. That being said, we're going to 2 turns. First turn is the deuce of diamonds and the 8 of hearts. So we spike the straight on bottom, securing that pot for ourselves. And then it goes 10 of spades, deuce of spades. So now I have a full house on bottom and I have nothing up top. The other gentleman with quads is getting his half of the pot. He had the second most in chips, and I am scooping the outermost pot with myself in the hijack because my pair of sixes is good. All he had was open-ended and a couple danglers that he did not hit. So my pair of sixes with a 7 kicker scoops the outside pot for a large chunk of change, I might say. And I gotta be honest, I'm pretty happy about that. With all that being said, it does get back to the other pots, and I end up chopping with the gentleman to my right who had the quad 10s, and we chop up the remainder of this pot. Let's go, GG, climbing back out of the trap and trying to get back to even. Look at all those chips in the middle. Man, I'll tell you what, poker can be fun when you hit. It really, really can. It can be the most fun, some would say. But I will let you guys check this out and watch me rake in all these chips as soon as the dealer is done. And may all your bomb pots be in your favor. All right, we look down at the next hand and we see the best hand and no limit hold'em. Pocket aces, that's right. What can make aces better? Maybe someone leading into you, and that's what the button does. He raised it up to $15. That's not going to be enough with pocket aces, boys. I'm going to re-raise it to $60. Action folds back to the button player, who decides that's not enough. He's going all in for $330. I instantly call, ask him what he wants to do. He says 2 full boards. As you guys know, I don't care. 660 in the middle. Gentleman to my left folded ace queen, he said, so we are only fading 1 queen. First board is, drum roll please, bink. That's right, he spikes the last queen. Luckily we fade him on the bottom though and chop up this pot. Yay, go aces, woohoo. Nothing like getting your aces cracked, so we're moving on to this next hand. It is a pot limit Omaha hand. The gentleman, the small blind, ended up buying the button. I ended up straddling. Looked down at 4779 with about 500 diamonds in my hand, so that's great. I really don't like this hand. Would normally fold it pre-flop, but you know, I already straddled, so I have to play it. With that being said, everyone chips in $5 because it's Omaha and everybody knows that any 4 can score in this game. So one by one, they all throw in $5 chips. Action eventually does get back around to me, and I, of course, check because, like I said, I would fold this pre-flop normally, but hey, this is where we're at. Flop comes out, and it is the bink. Queen 10-7, that's right, flop bottom set on a very draw-heavy board. I do check because I'm second to act and everyone's in this hand. Someone could have pocket 10, someone could have pocket queens. Even with all that, I really don't want to bloat this pot because I'm fading hearts, I'm fading straights. There's just too much to fade. And, you know, I don't think bottom set and PLO should really bloat the pot too much because that's how you lose a lot of money in this game. That being said, hijack bet $20. I make the call. It folds all the way around to the middle position player. He looks at his cards, slams them, says he's not playing this hand, and we're going heads up to a turn. The turn comes out, and it is the 9 of clubs completing quite a few straights, so I check it over to the hijack player. He reaches in his pot of gold, whips out $50, bets that into me, and once again, I think it's a clear-cut call here. I don't think I should raise. I don't think I can fold quite yet, and I just think that the cards are playing themselves at this point, you know? That's just the way I feel. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But I make the call, and the river is the board pairing, 10 of diamonds, and this player tanks. I check into him. He tanks for a while. Said last time this happened, I had a boat. Once again, I'm not betting bottom boat into another player. Maybe I'm a bad player. Maybe that's a bad move on my part. Let me know in the comments what you think, but he could have queen 10 here. He could have all kind of things. So I check to him. I don't want to bet and get raised. It goes check, check. He lets me know he has a straight. I let him know I have a boat, and he celebrates not betting the river. Like I said, let me know in the comments what you guys think. I think bottom boat here is a normal check in Omaha, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm not too familiar with Omaha, but $180 on to the next hand. All right, guys, this is the final hand of the night. Figure we start with pocket eights, may as well end with pocket eights. There's an under the gun straddle for $5. Like I said, 8-8 offsuit, not a bad hand. But when it goes around the hijack player, under the gun player, he decides to make the call. The cutoff player decides to make the call as well. In the middle position calls, and then the small blind and myself give it a call. So we're going about 5 ways to this flop, and the under the gun player checks. So, I don't know. You can raise 8s here sometimes. I prefer not to because I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. There's too many people. I felt like I was fading too much, and plus I'm first to act. If I was on the button, I think I raise 8s here, but due to my position on the table, I'm happy with just checking and, smooth calling and seeing what happens. Flop comes out 3-7 deuce. I have an overpair, so I lead out for $20. We do get through the under the gun player. Middle position player tosses in some chips and makes the call. It does fold back around to everyone else, and then eventually it is the dealer's turn to give us another card. Heads up to the turn. Hopefully it's nothing that we don't want to see. Don't want to see any hearts. Don't want to see any overs really. But when the boom, jack of spades comes on the turn, I think this is a safe spot to continue betting. I don't think he's folding with a jack high flush too often, so I lead out for $50. Jack doesn't really scare me, and I don't think it hits his range. So lead out for $50. There's a little bit of table talk here. I was joking around about having 7 deuce before the hand even started, so he's inquiring if I actually have 7 deuce, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got 7 deuce of hearts, 7 deuce of spades. Obviously I can't have those. So anyways, he makes the call, and we're going heads up to this river in a $165 pot. 3 of spades comes, bringing in the backdoor flush, also pairing the spade. So I immediately check. I'm in check call mode. He does not bet though, and it ends up going check, check. And I win this final $165 pot. Now let's go to the outro to see how the entire night went. All right, guys, so for the final totals, I was in for 600. I actually ended up getting in some hands later on and ended up losing some money. All right, feels bad. I was grinding so hard to get back to even. I actually had a little bit of profit, not too much, but ended up losing a couple hundred, so it's not the end of the world. Going back to play there again tonight. Hopefully I can run it up and get a good win for you guys on the vlog. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you on the next one.